I would like to make a disclaimer that the following video is my final presentation for a class at UAMS and represents a hypothetical scenario. The following presentation does not necessarily reflect the views of UAMS or any other agent. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sydney Holmes, and I am an environmental health specialist for the Arkansas Department of Health, and I am here to persuade you all on why I believe health inspections should be placed in the public eye. Here's an outline of today's topics. Topic number 1, what is a food establishment inspection report? Secondly, what information is included in the inspection report? Next, what are the different types of inspections? What do food inspectors look for? How often are food inspections performed? Are inspection reports available to the public? And why I believe inspection reports should be in the eye of the public. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so if you turn to the first page of the handout I gave you all, the first slide states, what is a food establishment inspection report? Well, before I actually knew what this was, I actually thought it was just like on TV where we see inspectors go in, they have a white lab coat on, goggles, a pen or a red marker, gloves, and they're ready to inspect. Well, after their inspection, I thought that restaurants received a letter grade, like A, B, C, D, or F. Well, on TV, of course, all the restaurants receive an F with the big fat red circle around it. But that's not exactly so true in Arkansas. In Arkansas, the ADH inspects all restaurants and food distributors in the state to be sure that they are following ADH food establishment rules and regulations. The regulations are written to ensure food is prepared, stored, and served safely, which in turn may prevent foodborne illnesses. And from the inspection report, inspectors can keep up with how well any food establishment is performing. Next, we have what information is included in an inspection report. I believe that consumers need to know what is included in the report so that they know what they're reading. If you look in the folder that I gave you all with the PowerPoint slides, there's another example of what an inspection report looks like. If you look, you see the establishment's name, the date of the inspection and the time in and out of the inspection, the address of the company, the phone number, the licensure, the inspection reason, the risk category, the foodborne illness risk factors and public health intervention section, good retail practice section, observations and corrective actions, and the comments left from the inspector, and the temperature observations. In the top left, you'll see the license number and the company name, and in the top right, you'll see the inspection reason, which it says routine, and the risk category, which says number 2. A routine inspection is an unannounced periodic inspection conducted as a part of an ongoing regulatory scheme based on the establishment's risk category. And the risk category is number 2. Category 2 is medium. This means it is a restaurant, and this restaurant is inspected twice a year. If you look down to the next section, it says foodborne illness risk factors and public health interventions. This section has 27 topics. Each topic has a rating. You can receive anything from an IN, which means in compliance, or an out, not in compliance, or NO, not observed, or NA, not applicable. If you look here at the first 15 topics, this restaurant was in compliance for everything, which is really good. If you look at the next 10 or so, it has NO, which means not in compliance or not observed. That's pretty good, but they will need to work on some things. If you look at the next section, it says good retail practices. This section also has about 27 different topics. Topics like good retail practice, safe food and water, good temperature control, food identification, prevention of food contamination, proper use of utensils, equipment, and vending, and physical facilities. If you look and see IN on all of these, this means that they are all in compliance. IN is not the only answer. As stated before, you can receive NO, which means not observed, out, which means out of compliance, NA, which does not apply, and R, it indicates a violation reported from a previous inspection, and C, a critical illness can apply. Or also NC, not critical. If you flip it to the back, there's a section for observations and corrective actions. Well, this inspector left a comment. It reads, observation observed small opening at the back door and leak in the walk-in cooler. Then it says corrective action, seal back door gap to prevent rodents, etc. from entering the facility. It also says repair the leak in the ceiling in the walk-in cooler. The next section says temperature observations. They have things like milk, dairy, pork, beef, pies, chicken, poultry, which is chicken, and it has the temperature. All of these temperatures are in compliance. Hot food should be at 135 degrees or higher. Cold food should be at 41 degrees or lower. And freezer should be at 10 degrees or lower. This inspection report is really easy to read, and I believe if we allow consumers to see this, that they would know what is going on in their restaurants. There's not a big fat F circle with a red circle, but there are comments for the restaurant to go back and fix so that in the next routine inspection, they will be in compliance. If consumers needed help with understanding this inspection report, we could easily put a reading guide in restaurants so that they know what they're looking at. Not only will they know what they're looking at, they'll know how things are being answered and what restaurants are really doing to stay clean and maintain a healthy establishment. If you remember, I talked about different categories. Well, this restaurant was category 2, but there are 3 different categories. Category 1 is a low, which means like a grocery store, and it's inspected once a year. Category 2s are medium, which are restaurants, and they're inspected twice a year. And category 3 is high. So these are hospitals, nursing homes, things of that nature, and they are inspected 3 times a year. Next, we have what are the different types of inspections? Well, there are about 7 different ones. We have a routine inspection, follow-up, a HACCP, a complaint, a pre-operational, a license renewal, and other. The reason I have routine and HACCP highlighted is because these are the most common. As I said previously in the slide before, a routine inspection is an unannounced periodic inspection conducted as part of an ongoing regulatory scheme based on the establishment's risk category. A HACCP inspection determines whether the critical limits of critical control points are being met. This inspection focuses on those portions of the regulations where violations could directly cause foodborne illnesses. A follow-up inspection, I believe, is important as well. It's just after a routine inspection where the inspector comes back to see if the comments they left behind have been fixed. And on the example I gave you where it says repair leak in the ceiling and seal the back door to prevent rodents, they would come back to make sure that those changes have been made. License renewal, they come in, do a brief inspection, and renew your license. I believe that it is important for consumers to know what inspectors look for. Two different items, critical and non-critical. Under critical items, we have proper hand washing, cooled foods being chilled properly, dishwashers having proper sanitizer concentration, and cross-contamination between raw and cooked meat. Under non-critical, we have labeled food storage containers, current operating permit, properly calibrated meat thermometers, clean floors, clean ceilings, and clean walls, and a separate break room from the work area. How often are inspections performed? Regulatory authorities shall inspect a retail food establishment at least once every 6 months. Inspections may increase in between the regular 6 months if A, the retail food establishment is fully operating under an approved and validated HACCP plan. B, the retail food establishment is assigned a less frequent inspection frequency based on a written risk-based inspection schedule that is being uniformly applied throughout the jurisdiction, and at least once every 6 months the establishment is contacted by telephone. C, the establishment's operation involves only coffee service and other unpackaged or prepackaged food that is not potentially hazardous, such as carbonated beverages, and snack foods such as chips, nuts, popcorn, and pretzels. Finally, to the question of all questions. Are inspection reports actually available to the public? Well, as Sydney, I believe that health inspections should be posted in the restaurant or on the establishment's website so that consumers don't have to ask for them. They will already be there and ready to be seen. In Arkansas, the regulatory authority shall treat the inspection report as a public document and shall make it available for disclosure to a person who requests it as provided in law. And in closing, I would just like to say that I believe that more consumers will be aware of some not so good restaurants. This information could help with the outbreak of foodborne illnesses, for example, salmonella poisoning. This will also help out the restaurants that some consumers think aren't safe or clean, potentially gain more business, for example, like Waffle House. And in the meantime, how can inspection reports be found? As previously stated, if any consumer requests an inspection report. The restaurant is required to allow you to see them. And you can also go to the Arkansas Department of Health website. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to come and hear my presentation. Please feel free to contact me with any further questions or concerns at slholmes@uams.edu, and my number is 501-786-7005. More information about food health inspections can be found at the Arkansas Department of Health website at foodserviceproduction.adh.arkansas.gov. And here are my references.